over them. And the outline of the course so far that we've been doing, for those who have been following along from the beginning, was the first thing we focused on. What? First order of business was? What was the first thing we discussed? First topic? No, but, I mean, yeah, this is the idea of marriage in Islam as the intro, and then our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most important relationship of our existence, the focus of our lives. Marriage is simply a piece of that. It's not separate, it's not more important, it can't clash with it, right? All of these things are crucial. And that is the number one goal, the number one focus of our existence, our duty towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, pleasing Him, showing Him gratitude, and so on and so forth. That never stops being the focus, that never stops getting the emphasis. Once it does, you're failing. Failing in your marriage, failing in your business, failing in whatever, once Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not the focus. We can't emphasize that enough, and we'll never stop reiterating that. Next step is to be the ideal person, to be the ideal spouse to the best of your ability. Be the ideal man, be the ideal woman, be the ideal wife, be the ideal husband before you get married. Bring on those traits and practice them and hone your skills and fine-tune them and take yourself into account all the time so that you can build your character to be the best person that you can be outside of the spouse, but so that when it happens, you're ready. You're not trying to get ready at the moment, as many people do. In addition, you'll know the qualities that you want to look for. And once you find those qualities in someone, you need to know what you're going to ask them. What is the conversation going to revolve around? Because these qualities, when you find them, they're very superficial. Most of the time, you don't have the ability to explore them deeply. You just heard that they're good with their prayer. You heard that they're good. They love the message and they attend it regularly. You heard that they're good with their family and that they're patient. But at the end of the day, you'll never know for sure until you get married. That's just with everybody, right? If everything checks out and you did your due diligence, there's still that unknown element. That's by design. That's where tawakkul comes in. You do your best and you hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do the rest. Then that's kind of still where we're at now. Exploring these questions that you should ask yourself and be ready to ask your spouse so that you can be on the same page and not just in principle, because people could agree on deen, they could be praying their five, they could be caring about deen and coming to the masjid and seeking knowledge, but then if they disagree over these roles and these expectations, their marriage does not last. So once we're done with that, inshallah, the next phase, starting from next week, we'll get into the actual courting process as people get to know one another, and we'll move on to that. So everybody in? I'm not going to say the code out loud because I want it to be focused on the people here. People online, I'm sorry, you're real people, you count, just not right now. 36? 36 people here? That looks accurate. I'm not going to count. You guys have, look, you're lucky that I stepped on the wire. You have 3, 4, 5. Why did I start from 3? I was supposed to count down. It's too late. Okay, by the way, we're not moving on from anything until I get at least one brother and one sister to share their thoughts. So last time we kind of just went with it. We went with the Slido. This time I want real life people to share feedback for every single question. Do we have a Slido? We don't have a Slido just yet. Can we make one? We're going to skip all these. I don't know why you're answering them. We did this already. Did people get at least the code in the beginning? Then it bugged out? How about now? No? I'm looking at it? All right. So for those who are here, we did up to... Yeah, I'm not gonna do this again. We did, I think, up to 12 or 13. So we covered a lot of the trivial roles. People still fight over these, cooking, cleaning, laundry, taking care of the kids. They still fight over them, and they fight often, and they fight spectacularly. But for the most part, I think in this setting, a lot of people kind of agreed. I think we kind of had general agreement, don't you guys think? I think there was a spectrum of, a very short spectrum of difference of opinion in these first ones about cooking, cleaning, and children, vacation. Not dumb stuff, but definitely lower tier stuff. So we're going to get into other stuff that hopefully will rile you guys up. I want to see people fighting. I want to see people upset. I need at least one person to leave in tears. Yeah, we're skipping all of these. We did this. We stopped at 12 last week. No, it's okay. You're good. Your kids are here. What are you doing? Yeah, some of these pictures are accurate, right? That is how you feel, guys. Stop voting. What's wrong with you people? 13, no, we did this. I guess we did more than 14. Interesting. 16? Who decides where and what we eat? All right. You guys ready? Bismillah. Next question is, should a man be able to decide when and where his wife goes out? Yes, no, depends. I need one on each side to share their thoughts on why you don't have to say what they chose, just share your thoughts. And then from there, we'll either, some of them we might hear more than one thought if people are interested. But for the most part, I want to hear at least one thought on each side from brothers and sisters. You think this is controversial? A little bit? Okay. Hold on to your seatbelts. I came for blood today. Okay, good spread. Let me get a sister, let me get a brother. Mike's yours. I'll move on once we get one on each side to share their thoughts. Remember, the premise is, I don't know if this is like a rule or logical. This is just me saying it, which is it's fine. I have the microphone. If you make a decision like this, if you have an opinion, but you can't voice it, can't explain why, your opinion's worthless. Who cares what you think? You have no ability to explain why. Of course, you couldn't have the ability to explain why and not be willing to do it in front of an audience. That's fine. Let's do it, Adam. You got to come up here and take the chair and the mic.
I was just gonna say, if it's something important, if it's something important like traveling or traveling, then you have to ask him. But if it's just buying something from the store, you don't have to ask.
Okay. So Adam says for travel, that's its own question. It's coming. But he says if it's somewhere far, it's a trip, then yeah. Other than that, going to the store, just simply going out, he doesn't care. So that's not exactly the question, but it's good enough. I'll take it. Anybody's take. I want to hear your opinion because, please, sister, if you don't want to sit on the chair, you still have to grab the mic, please. So everyone can hear you. Otherwise, I have to repeat it here and just adds time. So bear with me. It's off? Oh, it's too short. All right. I think it's off.
Hello?
Hi.
Okay, I was going to say one of the three roles for a nisa zawaj is obedience. And, you know, the brother that shared, he was sharing basically what he thinks as, well, like what he thinks requires asking and what doesn't. But like you said, that's not really the question. I think that your husband should be able to decide when and where you go places because obedience is part of. Oh my God! Wait, I feel so like.
Now you guys know how I feel. Okay, thank you. Any other takes on either side? Floor's yours. So I'm going to add very little insight in all of them because that my whole point in this session and last one was to hear your thoughts and you guys to share your thoughts and explain your ideas. When it comes to this particular question, a lot of people, they get the image in their head with the obedience in general. They get an image of a very military image where the husband, the family lines up, and the husband checks everyone off, you do this, and everyone salutes him, and That's not how it works. That could be how it works in some people's minds, but that's not what the Islamic obedience entails, right? That narrative is not present in our deen, but there is still obedience. So a lot of times, and I made these questions plain and simple as is to let you see where your mind goes with it and to answer as you see fit. We got majority of people said depends. Depends on what? Anyone wants to share? So Adam said depends on distance to him. Depends on distance. So that means if it's close by, you wouldn't have the ability to say no. So then your answer is yes. Okay. Any other takes on either side? Do you want to grab the mic? Okay. Well, when people end up getting married, this is a should question. Like they end up debating this at its core. So I tried not to put anything that is relevant to the Islamically obligated rights, because like you said, that's an obligation from Islam. But then this is a little bit of a branch. A branch is a little bit further out, so it extends from obedience for sure, but then it's a specific category that people often do differ over. So they differ over it. Why? Because of the fundamental question. They say you shouldn't be able to just dictate my comings and goings. Some of them will say what Adam said, that travel makes sense, a bigger deal. What's a bigger deal? Then they'll argue over that. It says like if I'm going to my parents' house or going to my friend's house or going to this event here. And then he says, well, I just simply say no. And they say, well, you shouldn't have that ability. That's what ends up happening. So he'll say it's an extension of the obedience. She'll say this is something different. That's why we're doing this here. Yeah, Nafisa. Okay, it's a good take. Depends on the woman. I'll move on. We got a bunch of different ones going on here. Should a man be able to decide what his wife can or can't wear? No comments allowed. Sure? Do you want the microphone? So we didn't get to the courting process. I was going to save it for there, but since it came up, that's definitely something people should consider. What is your pre-marriage situation? If you are marrying someone who, again, has a full-time job or is, it's their norm to have like a weekly family gathering, you should discuss that beforehand. You shouldn't, as the woman, you shouldn't get married and assume that's going to continue exactly as is if it's not brought up. As the man, you shouldn't assume that the second you get married, hey, cancel that, forget you ever had a cousin. That's not realistic on either side. And that is an excellent formula for conflict from day one. So if you know that has these weekly commitments, whether it's school, work, whatever it is, full-time job, that's why we didn't even include should women work in here. We said, remember, those discussions happened before. Should or shouldn't, it's the reality. So whoever says should or shouldn't, it's absolutely irrelevant worldwide today. Should women work or not, the ruling of it. It's irrelevant as a general ruling. Specific rulings for this particular job, sure. This job is not suited for women or whatever. But then it's the new norm. So now it just becomes the communication and the standard that you both accept. What level of working, what level of commitment. So likewise, when it comes to going out, I threw this here because, again, it's things that people argue over all the time, and I want to hear your discussion. But it is something you should consider beforehand. Why not? I get it, yeah. So, but that's the whole point. Well, that's the whole point. People get married and expect all that to change. either or to stay exactly the same. So the whole point is it should be discussed. Should be discussed. It shouldn't be surprise on either side, where it's like, hey, I gotta do this every single, twice a week, and it's gonna take this amount of time. And then from this side, it shouldn't be, hey, the second we get married, a whole new system, upend everything that you used to do. The communication should happen beforehand. Change your mind? Okay. So thoughts on this one? Yes, go ahead, sister. Yeah. You can go first, then sister, then Layla. So it's similar to this point that we said here. We kind of discussed that, and we're going to discuss it more later. Right now, where we're at now, I just want to hear opinions. So right or wrong, what should or shouldn't have happened, and this is by design. Because at this point, it's too late when people are already married. How does this happen? Is the first week or the second week or the first month or whenever? Or when the dazzle, razzle, dazzle wears off on one of you? He's going to ask, where are you going? I'm going to the masjid. Not dressed like that. That's exactly how it happens. Even though before they were on the same page, everything was fine. And then it hits out of nowhere. So then the question is not, well, we should have talked about this before. No, now at this point where we are in this conflict or in the marriage or in the discussion, doesn't always have to be a conflict, it's definitely headed there. The question at hand is, should she listen? Does he have input here? Should he be able to say that? Because if you don't believe that, it's going to be a fight. If you don't believe that, it's going to be an issue as well. So if you're not on the same page, there's going to be an issue. And it could end the marriage, as you said. So we're past the point of discussing before the marriage. We're saying right now, as you are now, forget about all those other points. What would you say? Would you agree? Yes, sister. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. Layla, you had something to say? Put it aside. That's not that. That's not what this survey is about. Like, guys, anybody on this side before I share some thoughts? It's okay. It's a safe place. Yeah. Where did inappropriate come in? Oh, they said depends. Okay, I was getting to that. Sure. So what if it's not inappropriate and he's being polite? Or he's not being polite. Irrespective, that's the whole point of the question. He's being super rude about it, let's say, and the dress itself or the clothing itself is not clear-cut haram. There's like it's ambiguous. What now? Yeah. He can't? Okay. Okay. Go ahead, sister. Okay. Thoughts on this side? No? No thoughts? All right. Cool. Next. So, like I said, we already went with the... I'm wondering what's going on there, so I see the question. We already went over the Islamic roles, and we'll cover recommendations later, so I'm not giving a lot of feedback here from that angle. This is a social discussion. It's not religious. It's less of a religious one, more of a social, what you like, what you don't like, what you expect, what you don't expect. 20 say yes, 10 say no, 3 say it depends. Can I get a brother and a sister simultaneously to come and sit up here? Why not? You got a lot of audacity. Go ahead, brother. You're the man. Go ahead, Nafisa. Okay. Should she have the bank details? Should she have the login? If she has the login and stuff, she'll have access. No? Is that how banks work? No? Fine, so all of that. Okay, my bad. I don't know how banks work. Go ahead, brother. I have your mic.
So I think I'm one of the few guys that would say yes to this. I think even in any marriage, the bank account should be shared. I think there should be standards on how much should be spent and what they should be spent on, but that is going to be dependent on the marriage. I think if she's going to spend money on the bank account, it should be for the family. Maybe for herself, there could be a budget for that, but most of it should be spent on like the family and the family well-being. She should have access, yeah.
So she should have access and then discuss the spending. Cool. Sisters, any thoughts? Go ahead, Sevi. Do you want the mic? It's powerful. No? All right. Okay. So you don't need the account, just the money. Just access to the money. Makes sense. Access to the... I mean, that's a separate issue, right? That's coming next. Yeah, Mohammad. I have a lot of questions. No assumption. Just straight up. Should he share his bank info with her? Just here, honey, here's my account. Here's a card for you. Please don't withdraw everything. Yeah, I'm waiting for your answer. Yeah. Not at all. Depends on who. I'm baiting. I'm kidding. Okay, so if there should be one family account, but not necessarily that she has access to all of his accounts if he has more than one, and especially if it's a business or... Okay. She needs to have access to everything. Okay. I like it. Balanced. Interesting. So, guys, the purpose of the mic is so everyone else can hear you, not just me. So that way we're all engaged. So please do grab the mic. It's only awkward the first time. Other hands? No? Should she share his bank account with him? Don't answer. There's a survey. You just... Everybody relax. Her bank account. Should she share his... Oh, my bad. This one's the opposite. Should she share her bank account with him? It's one pronoun that's off. My bad. Overwhelming no. How's this fair? What's going on here? What's the opposite of feminism? Thoughts? Let me get one on each side. Please grab the mic. I know it's a little bit annoying, but just so everyone can hear you and not just me. You just come here. You could sit next to the chair and hide behind it, and use the mic there. I'm sorry. It'll be a lot easier for everyone to hear you instead of just me. No? Anybody? Fine. Go ahead. Can't force it. I tried. This is exactly what I was looking for. Thank you. She should hide it as backup because a lot of things. Any other thoughts? If you say so. Chad? Okay. I mean, no one said he wants to. Saying should she? Like just. Cool. Open thoughts. Open mic. Yes, you can. Would you like the microphone so everyone can hear you? Okay. Oh yeah. So yeah, we knew that the live stream. We apologize for people live stream. We're having a little bit of activity this whole session, like last week. So the hearing will just be tough. A lot of people don't want to grab the mic. I try to repeat what they say, but I also can't on every sentence, or else we'll be here for a while. Any other thoughts? Any other difference? People, there's 3 people who said yes and 2 people who said depends. Any of those want to share? Go ahead. So a lot of what you guys are saying is great, and we did a little bit of that already, and we're going to do more of it. But this session, that's not what it's for. So what you're saying is spot on, and I love it. Jazakallah khairan. But at the same time, this session is about you bringing in those presumptions that you mentioned and filling in the rest of this question. Why? Because that's what happens in marriage. People don't fill in, wait a second, let me stop. Mawadda and rahmah. That'd be nice. That'd be Islamic. Okay. that. Whoops. Sure, that's like an ideal, and it's not the discussion. But I like it, and I agree. It's just not what the discussion is right now. I want people to fill in with their biases and their cultures and their familial experiences and make the decision right now. Because very likely, no matter what you learned, that's what's going to fill in that decision later as well. It's not going to be the logic. It's not going to be what you learned. A lot of that takes the back seat to your very primal instincts, what you saw your parents do, what you saw your family do, what your culture filled in. So I want you to make that decision right now as you are, that you, as a sister, you imagine your husband saying, hey, 1, 2, and 3, delete their numbers. 1, 2, and 3, don't go to that gathering that you go with them anymore. How would you react right now? Should he be able to do that or not? That's what I want from you. Because even if you know there's an Islamic answer that's different than what you feel, you will most likely default to what you feel right now. And working on replacing that with Islam is a lifelong process. And you will be shocked to find that out when you get married. You'll be shocked to find that out when you have kids. Because you'll realize, oh, wait a second, I need a ton of work, which is why we started with that. That's why we started with that. You find a lot of this out for the very first time in marriage and when you have kids because of the shake-up of the life stage while you're an adult. All the previous shake-ups happened while you were younger, high school, college, so you didn't register. This shake-up is the hardest one, and most people do horrible. 17 people said yes, 8 people said no, 9 people said depends. He's looking the wrong way. What's the... What gives? Go ahead, sister, please. Sure. It is on.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, so in microeconomics, there was an NGO that did a case study
Interesting
about
start.
giving. It was an NGO, I forget which part of the world, and what they were doing is they were trying to give microloans so that people could get jobs and take care of their families. And they found out that whenever they gave these loans to men, they would basically go drink or gamble the money away. And so they actually changed their system, and they ended up giving the loans to women who would end up purchasing, I don't know, flour and selling bread or something like that. So in a lot of cases, a lot of men, unfortunately, when they're given money in lower income areas, they'll end up spending it on frivolous things, whereas the women will end up spending it on themselves and their children. So to the point that of the question before, would you share your account? I would say absolutely not, because in many cases there are men who might gamble or who might drink or who might fall into haram and end up giving that money away. So it's much more likely that a woman will spend her money on her children and herself in cases of emergency. So I think she should keep it for that point.
I think that's an extreme example, to be honest. Like, most men don't gamble or drink, at least the ones that I know, like in our circles. And to assume that they're gonna squander away, I think is a statement about the expectations and the responsibilities that they have and how they carry them. Do you trust men? Do you trust men to take on that role? What?
No.
I didn't finish my question. I didn't finish. It's 8:12. Do we have time to do this now? Let's finish this. We can do this later. Just, I'll ask it later, I said. Because like I do want to finish this and we're running out of time. And we tend to drag. I want to respect everyone's time and try to finish latest by 8:30 always. Because I tend to drag and no one says anything. Should she be able to deny certain friends? That girl's there by accident. I told AI to put everyone in hijab. I don't know what happened. Ignore. I don't know. She's not 21. She's not supposed to be here. Yes, no, it depends. Thoughts? What, did we... So, should he be able to deny certain friends? We didn't touch on that one, did we? We didn't hear anyone's thoughts. So, Fuad? Okay. But the question doesn't necessarily say should he be able to deny male friends, because I agree with you. No male should have female friends. No female should have male friends. Period. But the question is just deny friends. So should he be able to say, hey, these few friends of yours, don't bring them over. Don't go over. I don't want you to be their friend. And then the opposite was for her to say it about him. Yes, sister. Please. So everyone can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I said yes for the reason being that if you're my partner and I trust you and I know the kind of person that you are and the kind of person that I respect, you're going to be able to give me good nasiha about the people that maybe I don't see something that you're seeing. But then I was talking to my friend and she said, it depends, because why would you be telling me not to hang out with people? Like, you should be able to trust me and my judgment about the people that I keep around me. So I'm leaning towards like it depends, but I also think if you both have a strong sense of self and who you keep around you, you should be able to trust one another to know, okay, this person is good for me versus this person is not good for me.
Thank you. Go ahead, Isa. Mike Slim. Here.
I think like yes, because it's like maybe it's just me, but I did a study at school where we were supposed to like identify what was biased and what was not, and it was pretty simple. They gave us a quarter. They were like, here, you either get heads or tails. You look at this quarter, you don't know what's behind it. What do you think the chances are that you're gonna get heads? If you don't know what's behind it, you're gonna think you're gonna get heads every time or tails every time, depending on what you got. So I think that if you don't take a perspective from like outside, like an outside perspective, your perspective will usually always be biased, and that's why I think yes, that people should be able to deny certain friends.
It goes both ways?
Yeah.
Okay. So Isa thinks it should go both ways because of the bias. Sister mentioned trust. Go ahead, Savi. Okay. Interesting take. Same thing for a female, denying her husband's friends. That friend's no good. He this or that. I don't want you hanging out with him. I think we had a similar percentage in both ways, did we? 21, 4, and 10. 17, yeah, close enough. It's not? You're right. My math's horrible. This one, okay, so please share. That's what I wanted to hear. No. Hypocrisy is a strong term. That's the whole point. I know there's a chance that you may have been joking, but and usually when I'm in teaching mode, I don't address. I have to address every joke, especially when it's so consequential. There's tons of people like that. The second there's a discrepancy in what you said or what you did, look at this munafiq. I married a munafiq. I should have saw it. They tried to tell me. I swear there were signs. When all it could have been is, hold up, let's talk about this. We hit a contradiction, like all humans do. Like exists dime a dozen inside of me. So let's talk about it. Because we said a standard and now we're not hitting that standard. What's going on? People right away, they jump to the other reaction and that's why they're unable to function. So I don't think it's hypocrisy that there's a difference, and there's a reason why the genders keep switching between the questions, because genders have different roles, they have different rights, they have different obligations, and they have different cultures. So the answers will sometimes be different, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then sometimes they will be the same, and there's also nothing wrong with that. Shad? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, absolutely to your first one. So just to politely fix that, if you don't mind. We don't see that in women as often as we see that in men. How can we just fix that? Huh? How can we fix that? Very simply. Just change the pronoun from we to I. Remember, okay, you did a good job, Shad. I used to teach Shad for like 10 years, so that's why the explanation. But the generalization of a conclusion that you just made is one of the worst things you can do. We see that happen in men or women more than men, or vice versa. That forces me to ask you, what are the statistics? How many men, how many families have you surveyed? What are the different factors? And how did you reach this conclusion about men or women, or our community, or the men in our community, or the brother, or any of that? And very often the statistics are, well, my dad did that. Okay. I saw my uncle, I saw a cousin, I heard the story of so-and-so. Put those all together. What are they, 10? Statistically speaking, 10 out of how many? Just Muslims, just Muslim males, just this masjid. The percentage is negligible and your conclusion is objectively false. This has been my experience, that's fine. And so I'm on edge, or I'm feeling protective or defensive because of my experience, that's fine. You're just a human being, we all do that. But then say because it happens more with men, more with women, the second you say that, you generalize, where's the statistic? Or else you're generalizing, and that harms you and harms everybody. We've said that over. Go ahead, Fatima. Sure? To be conniving? To be conniving? Okay. As long as you said it. Huh? Sure. I think we can agree to disagree, not because of we have a lot more common ground than we think, but I hate to keep doing this, but just because it's not the business at hand, I will pass over it because it's an issue that's answered by the entire series. The answer to what you're saying is pieces of your discussion are all over the series that we've been doing. So just so that we can move on with these particular questions in the poll and not to extend this topic, or else we can be here all night discussing this just one topic. And it's not the issue at hand. It's just not what I'm trying to get base reactions from everybody. Because like I explained before, that's what people tend to do in marriage. Whatever base reactions, the gut reaction that you have to these questions, outside of this whole explanation that you're saying, Fatma, which is I'm on board with you and I agree. And I think it's a very interesting discussion that I would love to continue and hash out for everybody to join in and to hear. But that's not what we're doing here. What I'm trying to tell you, again, is that when it comes to these situations, when you're in marriage, they pop up and then you react. Unless you've done this before, not just this one time here on one Thursday or 10 Thursdays through this whole series, but you've done this for years before getting married. So you've been getting refined, you've been getting ready, you've been asking different people. You heard communication experts, you heard therapists, you heard shuyukh, and then now you're very well equipped to navigate this and to actually think as opposed to react. Right now I want you to react. Why? Because that's what most people do. Just react. Your first gut reaction, and why do you think that? Why do you feel that? If you feel like, well, no, I didn't like any of these answers because it's more complex, I agree with you. That's what we've been doing this whole series. But that's not what I want from you right now. We're doing a different experiment right now. Does it make sense? Is it clear? Has it failed completely? Just let me know, guys. I'm trying. Is it okay to travel without your husband? Look how much fun they're having. It just ticks me off. It ticks me off because they're in Dubai. I don't care if they're having fun. Boycott Dubai, everybody. No joking. Please tell me why it's actually crazy. Come here. Who cares? I'm not qualified either. They give me a job.
I'm not sure, but if you can correct me, isn't there a hadith that says that it's not good to travel with your husband without your husband?
So putting Islamic narrative aside.
Okay, putting Islamic narrative aside, I would still say no. Why? Because if you're traveling by yourself, it's better. I feel like it's better to have somebody beside you to correct you in certain ways. You know, like the Prophet said, you should always have a companion. Yeah, but her girls can also be biased. So can the guy. So can the guy that's with her. But I feel like the guy that's with her would probably be protective. I mean, that's your husband. You know, he's probably going to be protective. So I think you should most likely have a man with you or somebody that you trust, maybe in your family, who will have protective jealousy over you to protect you from making any wrong decisions or going the wrong way.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Isa. Go ahead, Ruqayya, please. Good job, Isa. You got a round of applause. I've been doing this for years. No one cares. Go ahead, Ruqayya. What if it's for Islamic studies? She said what you said is understandable, but what if it's for an Islamic purpose? Yeah. No mahram, still no. That according to one person. I'm just sharing. Yeah, next. Depends on. Guys, you got a round of applause too. What the heck's going on? Okay? He says there's other options besides the husband. There's the father. There's another mahram. There's work. Yeah, go ahead, sister, please. Okay, great. Thank you.
So, I am not married, but I've taken many girls' trips with my friends for fun, and nothing went wrong. We didn't get lost. Like, I feel like it went fine. And it's like, if it's something my own dad allows, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, when I get married, my husband to be like, no, you can't travel with your friends. You can't take a fun trip. I just feel like it really doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't understand why it can only be for work or for Amra or something. It's like we're grown,
Yeah, I hear you. Go ahead, Hilal. You want the microphone? Please, because then everyone can hear you and I don't have to repeat. Yes, sir? It's the next question. It's the next question.
Oh, my foot fell asleep. Okay. Bismillah. So, assuming that safety is not a factor that you have to concern yourself with, overall answer, I'd say it should be okay for her to travel without her husband. However, I will add on, if you are a husband to a wife or a girl that you feel uncomfortable with her traveling alone, perhaps you should be able to discuss with her why you're not comfortable and then work on becoming comfortable. So the particular context that comes to mind for me is with the girls' trip, for example. A lot of guys might not be comfortable with that because of the influence that might be in the area she's traveling to, or maybe her friends are single, and so they might influence her to do something that you don't feel so comfortable with. So my opinion, I think number one, you should first off make sure you're going to marry someone that fears Allah. Like, more than their respect for you, they fear Allah. So even if they were, just out of the whispers that shaitan gives everyone, of course, even if they were tempted to do something, she wouldn't do it because she fears Allah first. And then secondly, putting in place the parameters and the conditions in your relationship that would make you feel safe with her being able to travel if it's needed, or maybe if it's, desired within reason for her to go somewhere with her friends. And like I said, those parameters could include something like, okay, you're able to travel, but you're calling me at these hours, you're calling me with this type of frequency. You're traveling this distance, you are away for this amount of time. And inshallah, as the other sister had mentioned earlier, you guys are grown. She should be able to feel empowered by the relationship, not kind of enslaved. And same with you. And like I said, just communication, I think, will solve it all together.
We are running out of time. We're at 8:30. I do have to wrap up. So these next ones, I definitely want to hear everyone's thoughts. We'll move on to the next part, but we will start off next week with these three. I'm just going to take the votes. We won't hear your takes on them. But these last three, just vote on them, and then we'll start next week with them, just so we got to wrap up. Living with your in-laws, yes, no, or depends? You vote on, your answer's on Kahoot. We'll look at them in a minute. Look how happy they are. Interesting. We'll discuss these at the beginning of next time, inshallah. Here's a scale of 1 to 10. Serving your in-laws. It doesn't say men or women, by the way. Just serving your in-laws. 1 to 10. No, number 1 says serve, like who am I serving? And then number 10 says I'm going to serve them as if they're my own parents. I didn't mention men or women, just serving your in-laws. So it's for both sides. Service to in-laws goes to on both sides. I don't understand what this means. What does this even mean? What is it doing? Oh, I know it is. I know it's. Okay, now it makes sense because the percentages are here, but before that it didn't make sense. So 49% of you said they're going to treat your in-laws like your own parents. Wow, good amount of liars. How do you pronounce it? Polygyny is not having 4 wives. That's not what polygyny means. Vote as you see fit. What does it mean? It's just a question. How do you guys know as the question is, should it not be allowed? It's just polygyny question mark. So, that's what polygyny is. It's not asking if you approve or disapprove, but 34 people said no. Awesome. Huh? I am the moderator. Nice try, brother. And I want to hear people's thoughts in these last 3. We'll start with them, inshallah, next week. But we'll end here just to keep it timely, inshallah. And then we'll continue with the courting process and actually looking into someone to marry. Jazakumullah khairan, everyone. And we'll do Q&A next time as well, so please bear with us. Subhanaka wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Sallallahu wa barik ala sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Wassalamu alaikum.